Hello and welcome to Mansbrook. My name is Moses Cheng, your host today. And at Mansbrook, we are discussing everything men. Men have issues and matters that ought to be discussed. And there's something that actually, when I was thinking about the topic of today, which is communication, I was asking myself, how do you know that you've communicated? And do really men communicate? Men, do we communicate when we are speaking in our houses and speaking to our spouses? Do we really communicate? Definition of communication, according to the dictionary, is the imparting of information through any medium. It could be writing, it could be, spoken, it could be probably signed. Actually, nowadays you can even give a sign kind of a communication, because it's like, if you did this would mean come, if you did this would mean no, but some would do this and then they do this, then you get confused. So you ask yourself, do you really communicate? Somebody says, for you to know that you have communicated, you have to get a feedback. And sometimes you've got to probe for the feedback for you to know that the communication is home. Like when you send a text message, or you write that loved one, you write her a text message. I'm talking to men, and then she fails to text back. How do you know that you have communicated? And now, to help us look at this topic, communication, which is very wide today, I'm joined by my very able panelist. This is Pastor Kim. I almost said Dr. Kim.
It's a word of prophecy.
It's a word of prophecy.
Doctor in communication.
Doctor in communication. Wow. So, Pastor Kim, karibu Dr. Kim.
Asante sana Moses.
Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Yeah, you may want to tell these men out there who you are.
Thank you, Moses. My name is Pastor Kim. I am a pastor in Full Gospel Churches of Kenya, Kimathi. And by God's grace, I'm also the chair of the Men's Fellowship in the Nairobi Central District. I was reappointed after 5 years of service.
Congratulations.
So after the changes that came, I received a reappointment to serve again as a chair. So thank you.
You know, that's communication. That communicates something to you that you did well.
Yes, by God's grace, yes.
Yeah, you did well. And so we can actually say, congratulations.
Thank you.
You've been communicating to men. So what really have you been communicating? Pastor Kim, what's communication?
Thank you. I think as defined, communication is, in simpler terms, passing of messages from the sender to the receiver.
Okay. And
also over different media. It can be face-to-face. As you said, it can be text messages. It can also be verbal and non-verbal. It's not necessarily voiced communication. There is also the non-verbal communication.
Like emoji.
Like
like you do an emoji.
You get that scoop of food in your mouth, and the communication, even if someone asks you, how is the food? You have already communicated of the way, all those things. There's a lot of communication men do in the house. And then communication is also two ways. It's also, as we say, sending of the message and also receiving
the
feedback. So there must be the talking and the listening in any communication. As we talk, especially in the family context, there must be talking and the listening for communication to be, and then the feedback for communication to be. In technical terms, we say it's encoded and decoded. So the way I know now that sounds media.
Yeah. I'm looking at the decoders and encoders.
So the way I send the message, you need to receive the message. Definitely, there are very many filters a message goes through. Because of your background, the way you have been encultured. I keep on telling, sometimes communication is broken by even your past experiences. For example, if you were in a school where the teacher kept on telling you, wewe ni mjinga. And then you're the husband here and you tell your wife, wewe ni mjinga. The message, when it gets to her mind, it goes and searches that live wire that was still there, and it touches it, and the way connects with it. So the response that comes will be
based on probably that experience.
Exactly.
I think hold that thought, because towards the end of this show, I'll be asking you what breaks communication.
Okay.
What really is the cause of the communication breakdown? And I think you've already given us a bit of it, a feel of it.
Yes.
Guys, we went out and we asked people if really men do communicate. And if they do communicate, what do you understand when they say some of the words that we asked outside there? So listen in and let's hear their opinions.
Unajua maybe wewe unataka kitu na yeye hataki. Saa zingine mnakosa kuelewana hapo. Juu yeye maybe anataka ufanye kitu yenye anataka yeye kusema na wewe hutaki. Sasa unaona mnakosa kuelewana.
Wanakosaga kujielewa juu ya kitu moja. Ya kwanza, huyu mtu amelelewa pahali tofauti na wewe. Sasa kunaletanga tofauti juu mara nyingi ni culture, na sasa siku hizi kuna kuanga na intermarriage nyingi, cultural behaviors zina mix. Kabla muelewane mna take time. Kabla hii time unaona marriages zina break juu. Kabla muelewane mko na katoto kamoja unaona naweza umelia.
Kuna saa zingine unamuelewa kama ameenda straight to the point, lakini utakosa kumuelewa ukiona anaongeza vitu mingi zenye au kumuuliza.
Wanaume mambo zao ni gumu. Kulingana na mimi, wanaume mara mingi wao hawajielezi kwa wale watu wako karibu nao. Labda lazima mkuwe marafiki sana ndio aweze kujiexpress, yeye aseme kitu anataka kusema.
Sometimes kama huwa anaficha mambo wanapitia na huko ndani, hataki kukuambia yote. Unaona? So wanakuambia nusu. Sasa wewe ukiwa mjaja utaelewa kama umemsoma. Unaona?
Most of the time wananyamazianga vitu mingi na anaenda kuambia mtu mwenye si mwenye anafaa kuambiwa.
Hata kama sio clear, utajaribu tu kuelewa, kuunderstand wewe mwenyewe kivyako.
Wow, that was so intriguing. Actually, if you listen to what people are saying out there, it's just something. Because I realize kumbe sisi men tuna shida. Do we really communicate? You know, you might think you've communicated and you have not. Yeah, unasikia mtu anasema no, these people don't even listen. Wana listen na mind yao ziko kwingine. So what's our problem really?
I think part of our problem is the way we have been encultured. People might think they communicate, but they just give orders in the family. They don't wait for feedback. So that's why you will hear them say, man is the king. Traditional. We've seen how our parents were in the traditional kind of marriage setup. Yeah. So they will just give orders without knowing whether they've reached home, they are the king, they are the president. But most primarily, I think our main issue, as we've had, is that we don't listen.
You know, you've said that traditionally it has reminded me of something. My dad actually, actually before we began this show, my dad was calling. So I've been able to connect that. He used to, when we are at home, he used to call you. And if he calls you, you run. You literally run. Na unajua kwetu, where the house is, ni kimlima, na imeteremka hivi, ni mlima. So nyumba ya mami iko kule, sisi tuko na huko chini. So you run. Utapanda hiyo mlima, you'll run. Same thing applies to his wives.
When he calls,
it's an order. Even my old mama runs.
I think that makes us lack dialogues in families. So there's no proper communication. There's no complete communication. And that's why they say we are pure communicators, because there's no dialogue, there's no feedback. And again, when now is the other way that they are talking to us, our children, our spouses, we are busy. Watching football, thinking of today. I think there's a Man U game, Man U game or the Chelsea game that was there over the weekend. You know, you're there maybe watching or thinking of other things. And I agree. Sometimes we have a lot as men.
I wanted you to say that. Yeah, you know,
you have the rent in January. Kuna rent, kuna school fees, kuna arrears.
Si men tumesukumwa na maneno javeni.
Then you're just thinking of
na we ni baba.
we ni baba,
school fees,
kuna mchango kanisa, you know, all those things.
Baba Nani and family. When you
yeah, Baba Nani and family come, we see what you brought for us today. Now the family will be there backing you up, but you're the one removing the money.
Can we say that sometimes wives need to understand that sometimes our minds can be clogged when they're communicating?
I think what you need to understand for both of you, you need to know whether you are a morning person, an evening person, and what is the best time to communicate. So that, you know, have you ever had situations where someone tells you, alisema aliniambia, mimi sikumbuki akiniambia, lakini the wife can say, unakumbuka ile siku ulivaa shati ya green, ulikuwa umeketi kwa ile kiti, nikakwambia story ya nani. There's like a story you're connecting, but that point, why? Because maybe the communication was at a time that you are listening side, you are bogged down by things that you are not so, but also listening is a skill. You can actually build listening skill as a man. Number one is gradually put the detractors away. Look at the person talking. Do not look at the TV and you think the ears will hear it.
I think we'll be talking about that one later. Remedies. Remedies. I know Pastor Kim really wants to help people out here, but we'll be talking about remedies. But I want you to, those who are watching over social media, I want you just to write a scenario to us when you thought probably you communicated and your wife cannot even remember, or your wife says that I communicated, I said this thing. Write us that scenario. We want to laugh at some of these things and laugh them out. You know, as men, when you're chilling out, you need to laugh at some of these issues. But there's some places
as you communicate even to your husband, don't get very complicated. Like in terms of colors, that I want a peach, a turquoise, green, those things luminous. Make it simple. Break it down for us.
You do that with me, you've lost me. Because like, there was a time I was giving people direction to where our studios are. Our studios are painted pink, but nowadays I'm getting it right. And I was telling someone, ukifika hapo utaona hiyo building ya red.
Totally lost. This is red.
Then the person next to me was telling me, oh my God, did you just say red? So, ladies, our girls, let me call you girls so that you feel good. Our girls, don't make it complicated.
Yes, exactly.
As in, break it down. I think we are coming to the remedies. I'm tearing up. Sorry. Don't make it complicated. Just don't tell me, you know, ile nguo yako ya, what did you call it?
Turquoise, luminous. So, as we know primary colors. You know, red. They are red.
RGB,
green and blue.
Yeah, red, green and blue. That's all we know, and that's final. Don't take us to orange.
We already struggling like now, in communication.
What is the color of this? Is it orange or is it red?
This is red. This is red.
Okay.
I'm saying you're already struggling with.
But a woman will tell you this is not red.
It's wine red.
Yeah.
What red?
Yeah, it's wine something red. Oh my God.
Most you're struggling with communication as it is, So make it easier. Make it easy.
Yeah, Pitson anasemango usicomplicate Lingala. Okay, fine. That's Pitson. You see, we want to take a short break. Guys. And when we come back, we'll be looking at what are the barriers to communications, and then we'll be looking at really what are the remedies, because barriers are there, but there are remedies, so we still can communicate. So let me take a short break so that I can cool down. I'm really laughing in here, and we'll be right back after this. Don't go away. Okay.